Take a look at these custom shade styles. While both of them have a contrast U-shape applied around the edges, the shade on the left has a U-shaped band, while the shade on the right has U-shaped trim. But what's the difference between banding and trim? These terms are easy to mix up, but it's important to understand them so you can communicate the exact design you're going for, and so we can calculate yardage for your project as accurately as possible. Starting off, a band refers to the block of color made from contrast fabric sent to our workroom. Fabric bands are sewn together with the face fabric, which is the term we use for the fabric that makes up the majority of the front face of the product. There are two different ways we can apply fabric bands. With the first band application method, the contrast fabric acts more like a block of color, continuing the width or length of the product. It's conjoined with the face fabric with a seam. On custom draperies, this is often referred to as a grand band. A grand band is a great way to break up the length of a space, adding visual interest and emphasis on certain lines of the window frame or decorative molding. But don't just limit your drapery bands to the width of your panel. Leading edge banding is another beautiful way to customize your client's drapery. Pairing patterned and solid fabrics together for banded draperies is a beautiful look. Some designers include additional layers with multiple bands or a trim covering the seam between the banding. And fabric bands aren't just for draperies either. Bringing us to the second band application method, where the contrast band fabric is folded and stitched onto the face fabric. See how this type of band is applied on top of the face fabric. This can also work with select bedding products, shades, and other accessories. Highlight colorful accents with fabric banding down the lengths of either side of your shade, or request banding along the very bottom to add length with a contrast color. But it's important to differentiate this banding style from flat trim. Flat trim can appear similar to a fabric band at first glance. However, instead of shaping 54-inch wide fabric into a custom band for your product, trim is ready-made. It's important to include the trim width measurement in your quote request before we get started on your order. Some trim may require hand sewing, like the luxurious tassel trim on this custom swag treatment. Trim with pom-poms, beaded accents, or fringe typically hang from a smaller flat trim. Depending on the look you're going for, we can sew accent trim in one of two ways. We can either sew the trim into the seam of the product so that the flat part doesn't show. Or if the flat part of the trim is more decorative and you'd prefer that to remain visible along with the dangling custom accents, we can sew the flat part of your accent trim on top of the face fabric. Just be sure to specify all of this on your next order with us. Find a recap of this video on our blog at stevensonvestal.com, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up below and hit subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.